Hi everyone, and I just want to go over some of my thoughts here on this Heidi Broussard and Margot, her infant daughter, who are missing in Austin, Texas. I want to just go through some of the things that I'm feeling as I've listened to more of the father's interviews. I know that a lot of you had brought this to my attention over the last 72 hours, and I just have not been able to go through a lot of my mail. So then at our live last night, you guys brought it to our attention. We watched Casbat's video. That's a good video to start with too. Go there, like and subscribe. And that's Casbat on YouTube. Also, I want to say that, again, I'm sorry for not going through my email as quickly as I would like to. It's just a crazy time. But let's look at this case because it's very important. These people are missing. This mother and her young child are missing. While it's not looking good to me that there was not foul play involved, we can always hope and pray that, you know, they will be found somewhere. Maybe they're hiding out somewhere. Let's still hope that we could have a better outcome than one would might be expecting at this point. So let's look at what's going on here, because I have a lot of thoughts. I had thoughts last night and they've seemed to be moving in that direction. Okay, so let's see what we know so far. We have Heidi Broussard. She is a 33-year-old mother of 2 children. She has a 6-year-old son, Silas, and she has a 2-week-old infant, Margot. She was last seen dropping off her 6-year-old son at Cowan Elementary School in Austin, Texas. Now, if you listen to her fiance, he returned home early from work around 2 p.m. after working all morning, and he found her car in the driveway with her purse in the car. I'm going to go over that in just a second because I want to go over his interviews. A lot of things that I was questioning last night could have been, that would, might have been a factor, seem to be going in that direction. So this is the 12th that they go missing. And there was also a book fair. He mentioned several times that she bought $25 worth of books that she couldn't wait to read to Silas, and that they were in the house, and they were found in the house. He claims to have spoken to her after this book fair, after 8 a.m., when she explained to him how excited she was to read these. Then he gets home early that day at around 2 p.m. and sees her car and her purse. Her phone, though, is missing. Okay? But the diaper bag and things for the baby are there. The baby's car seat is there. He thought she was at a friend's house. Now, they lived in an apartment complex. He said it was not unusual for her to be visiting that friend, and that's why he didn't think it was strange, okay? And he didn't report that she was missing right away. He reported it some hours later. There is a photo that shows her in this purple shirt at the school, so we know that much is true as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about some purple shirt things. Her fiance, he is Shane Corey. There's a lot of things that raise red flags to me about this guy. He did some interviews. If you watch the raw interview, he is very, very nervous. He is very concerned with how he looks. He, more than once, gets very frustrated, says, can we try a different position, whether sitting or standing or facing this way or facing that way. The cameramen are also saying, could you not look down? At some points he's looking down at his phone as if he has his talking points on his phone. You know, it's just stuff that is not natural, and ironically that is what he's concerned about, looking natural, and then he uses the term looking professional. Now, how are you looking professional in going on TV and talking about your missing fiance and newborn daughter? Who's professional in that? It's a very odd choice of words. Then he says, well, you know, natural. And at one point he gets really frustrated and blames, like, you guys for making me look like this. Okay, so he seems to have already come in with a lot of, I don't know, nerves, in that he's going to come across not as a caring, frantic husband and father. So that's just some of it. His eye and face on the one side is noticeably swollen, as if he was hit, or, you know, it's something is off with the side of his face. He wears a beanie hat pulled down very, very low, even when he's inside giving an interview. Someone say, oh, he didn't wash his hair, he doesn't want to show it. You know, I tend to think, could he be trying to conceal scratches? Was his hair pulled? You know, different things. I'm also very suspect to it when he says something about his dad in one of the interviews, and then of course he does an interview with his dad, and he has a different hat on, but also a beanie, not any kind of a baseball cap where you can see his forehead. Is his forehead scratched? It's pulled down low. He tries to keep his head down. Now, the swaying from side to side, that's a self-soothing mechanism. Just because someone does that doesn't mean they're lying. It can mean they're in a very heightened state of anxiety. It's kind of like that rocking motion that someone makes with a baby, you know, or rocks a baby to soothe them. They're doing it to themselves. Does it always mean that they're liars? And no, it doesn't always mean that. Just like not maintaining eye contact does not always mean someone's lying, but it can be an indicator. In this case, the swaying, you know, a lot of us are seeing that he's, you know, trying to soothe himself for something. So what is he doing? Because of what he's talking about, you know, it's not that he's going to the podium to, let's say, make a speech because he's running for the school board and he's swaying. In that way, if I did see that, I'd say, oh, maybe he's really nervous about public speaking, and so he's swaying because he's kind of self-soothing himself. This is a totally different situation. Yes, could it be that he's really nervous about appearing in front of TV cameras and stuff? Sure, but I just get a different vibe from it. The other thing that really bothers me is the laughing and the smiling. Yes, there is nervous laughter. Believe me, I know it because I have nervous laughter. There's something different to me. Now, again, this is just my opinion, and that's what I'm here giving. Just my opinion. I want to get this out. I gave some of my opinion last night, and it looks like we might be moving in that direction. And that was, you know, just my initial opinions of what might have happened here. So there's laughing and there's smiling that's happening, and it's just happening a lot throughout the interview. Then he will get like immediately frustrated, like he was going to walk out. He said the thing about his father, you couple that with the swaying, the no eye contact, just raising a lot of red flags for me here. And I can't just ignore that. I don't see a franticness to him. I see a lot of inconsistencies with the way he's speaking about his newborn daughter, his wife, and then his son that they have together, Silas. He also has a daughter from a previous relationship who's older than Silas. Okay, so with his son, you know, he mentions about speaking with Heidi about the books, and she couldn't wait to read them to Silas, and they were there in the house. He gives a lot of information about things that occurred during those hours that, you know, she was missing, that he didn't report it. When he's talking about getting them back, there's troubling things that he says there, okay, just in his own words. It seems like there's a disconnect with the baby. Many times, now again, it can be because it's a new experience having the daughter. He's just not as comfortable, you know, with his language, saying my daughter, as he is with his son. Yes, that could be a possibility. But what I'm seeing, okay, is I wrote down some things as I was watching, okay, and I just want to pull those up for myself. Okay, so I think that, let me see, he keeps laughing. I said he's worried about how he looks on camera. He's worried about the camera angle. Should he stand, like I said. He goes on about things that, you know, lots of details where he doesn't have to add a lot of details about certain things, and he goes on and on. Like he mentions things multiple times, like the $25 for the book fair and this and that. His face is definitely like swollen when he had the phone in his hand. Now, if he was looking down at the phone because he had to remember talking points, I find that suspect, because why should he have to remember, you know, being a concerned dad? Did he have certain, you know, time, like a big timeline there that he had to keep looking at? I don't think so. And that he says, you know, I can't be professional. You make me nervous. Needs his dad. Wants to be natural. Gets angry at one point. He says they're causing him, you know, to look guilty is what it all boils down to. He's ready to walk out. Then he says something about she would never do this, and looks down. And I'm thinking, oh, is he talking about cheating? Because that was the one thing that had me thinking, did he find out this child was not his? Did he find out this child was not his and she was going to leave him? He is not a family annihilator in the sense that his other two children are still there, that he seems attached to his son, that this more seemed to me a crime, that if he is connected with this, that there was something that happened that threw him, sent him reeling. And to me, it could be finding out she was going to leave him and the child wasn't his. That's what I said last night. Okay. Also, we hear that, yes, there's going to be more searching. We don't see it. The law enforcement is being very, very quiet. They could be allowing him enough rope to hang himself with these interviews. How come there's no Amber Alert if she's truly missing or gone with the child? Now, if we have a one parent, right, we don't know if they're whatever, we're just not seeing that. Now, you might say, well, there was no Amber Alert with cases like Shenan. Correct. So, yes, but, you know, just wondering, just throwing that out there. It doesn't have to be an Amber Alert by any means. And if we look that they left their purse and everything, and it doesn't seem to be any type of sign that she was going to take the child and go, yes, then there wouldn't be an Amber Alert there, just the same way that it was not for Shenan and the children, and it's a you know, a missing persons. Okay. So then, you know, he says something about bring her home safe or put her somewhere safe. Now, the put her somewhere safe, put her. So is he referring to them as one person now? Is he unconsciously doing that because there is only one person? Is the baby alive somewhere and Heidi is not? Or are they both deceased and he wants them, like, put her somewhere? Sounds like they don't have the capacity to move on their own. To me, that's what I get. So that in my mind, did he do something and he's going to then put them somewhere so that they're found? I don't know. That's what I say. Drop her off. You know, it just is certain words he uses. Okay, and I just don't get a good vibe from him. Just my personal opinion, kind of things. But you could watch the interviews and see what you think. There are news stations that have the raw versions of them up there, and see what's going on, what you think about it. But these are just, I mean, this is kind of like a verbal stream of consciousness. I'm just letting you know what I think. The paternity, again, I keep going back to that. Now, as I go back to that, someone sent me something where someone claims to receive an email from an ex-boyfriend of Heidi, who has a lot of information. Now, I'm telling you, I am highly suspect at this point why this person is writing to some random YouTuber instead of going to the police. And why does the random YouTuber need to submit it to the police? This is what I don't understand. I think it's good that they are submitting it to the police. I'm sorry, hiccuping. Submitting it to the police, but I wonder, you know, if this is truly an ex-boyfriend of Heidi and he truly does care, wouldn't you go to the police immediately? Or would you say, you know what, I think I'm just going to contact someone on YouTube. I'm going to send them an email. It doesn't go, you know, just in my opinion again. If it was somebody that I cared about and I had information, I would immediately contact law enforcement. Now, maybe this person did and contact this YouTuber. I don't know. But all I'm saying is I tend to be highly suspect. There are a lot of people that come forth in cases like this, and they really don't have any information. We've seen it in a lot of missing person cases. So this person that did write says that, you know, Shane was abusive, and lists some occasions where someone was in the house with a knife or something, and made it sound like this gentleman is not involved in up and up things, you know, just a lot of trouble. And also says that now I did look up this part of it, that in Texas, if you have a couple that's not married, that they give you a mandatory paternity test at 2 weeks, and he thought that he might have been the father of this child. Well, that would mean that he was together with her, right? He claims that one of the reasons they broke up was this Shane being violent or whatever. So here we go. Is that true that there's not a mandatory? If you have a couple that's not married and they're trying to find out who's responsible, if someone's responsible for child support, upon the consent of both parents, there can be a paternity test. So it's kind of half true. Did they have this paternity test? Do the police know the results of the paternity test? Is that another reason they're being quiet? So whether this comes to light or not, beyond this person contacting this YouTuber, if you go back to my live from last night, it's one of the first things that I mentioned. Could the child not be his? Could he have flipped out? Now, who knows? I don't see why she would be going to have to petition like this for child support if that's how they found out, or if it was just that he had suspicions. Maybe the child didn't look like him. Maybe the child looks like the person that, you know, she was, let's say, dating, or maybe she had cheated. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened in the past. I don't know if she left him, you know, 11 months ago and it was involved in another relationship. Okay. So I don't even know that, you know, cheating, not cheating. Was it another relationship? Did she separate from him? Were they on a break? Did she take her children? We don't know so much here. So could it be that she did leave and then she came back and then she was pregnant and he had suspicions all along that the child might not be his? I don't know. Do I know the child's not his? Absolutely not. I have nothing but my own opinion about why, if he is involved in something very sinister, what could have set him off. And just, these are just my, again, like a stream of consciousness, okay, going forward. And I just wanted to get them out here because as this evolves, you know, I like to go back and see where my mind was going. And maybe this is like really discombobulated for you and it's only going to be useful for me, and I apologize for that, but maybe some of you can relate to some of the things that are going through my mind. So things to ponder. The Amber Alert, I think we know why the Amber Alert was not issued, because it wasn't anything that was a clear abduction of the child by another parent. The search continuing, not continuing. We're hearing that EquiSearch is going out there. We haven't seen it yet. I don't know. Why is law enforcement so quiet? We saw a little bit of that in the Frazee case. There was very little talk, and I said back then I think it was very intentional. The purple shirt. There are stirrings that it was found, that law enforcement found it at the apartment. Do I know for certain? No. We can ponder this paternity issue, the abuse in the marriage. Now, his job, last night, someone said he worked for a moving company. Now, I have several questions. Did he ever bring trucks home? Was he ever seen moving carpets or anything out of the apartment? Was he ever seen moving large boxes, totes out of the apartment? Did he, like, again, you know, bring work trucks? Did he drive them around? Did they have GPS on them? Have they checked where he has been working? Again, what happened there? And where are Heidi and Margot, right? We've got to ponder all this. So let's discuss it. Join me tonight. We'll be discussing this. We'll also look at the Seavers case as we have. But leave your thoughts in the comments. Updates will be covered as they come in. And really, prayers and good thoughts for Heidi and Margot. Let's just keep that going and hope that they can be found alive, even though it's getting really grim as each hour moves by and we don't have any information, and this is so totally out of character for Heidi. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. Have a good one. Bye-bye.